Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. We are in, I think we are in week 5, video 5 of the Crucial Conversation series. Now, as you know, I have been traveling, so a lot of these have been pre-recorded. This one is being pre-recorded too. I've just gotten back from a fabulous trip in Vietnam and Cambodia. And still recovering just a little bit through the fact that I think I'm going to struggle to be up super duper early to get ready. So I have pre-recorded. You'll get the announcements and they will go live. And rest assured, we'll try and get to go live again next week. So if you've been watching on these, so the replays or watching as I've dropped them, I am really glad that you're here and still showing up for yourself and for your growth. Now, as I said, this session might be pre-recorded because I'm fresh off a flight and don't see, I'm still a bit fuzzy now. And I really don't quite trust my brain to run at full speed. But the learning doesn't stop, does it? Because neither do we. Now, if you've missed any of the previous sessions, it's okay. You can get back and go and have a look and see exactly where we're at. We have gone through, what have we gone through? I'm just trying to think. So today we're at Make It Safe. See, told you the brain's a bit foggy and it's still there. It's still coming through. It's still coming through. But it's really quite surprising how getting back into the swing of things can take a little bit of time. So if this has been you and you're going through a whole load of stuff, then please just make sure that you are that you're actually looking after yourself, because that's what I've chosen to do. So I'm actually recording this the day before, so it's Monday. The head's feeling okay right now. But right as we speak, right as we go, right as we do, this is where I am at. So what we are doing today is we're going through Make It Safe. Now, remember, go back and check out the previous recordings if it is that you have seen it. When we're looking about making it safe, there are lots of signs. There are lots of signs that the conversation is not going well. And what we really want to be able to do is identify those. All right, so let's try and get the brain going and the brain the way that it needs to. So again, if you've missed any of the previous sessions, go back and watch them. Each video is only about 10 or maybe 15 minutes long, and gives you the context that you really need to apply this work. Last week's video, if I'm recalling, because I'm following the Crucial Conversations journey, let's go back. I've got things falling down. See, this is how you know things aren't quite right. So I'm following the Crucial Conversations. This has been my go-to resource. I've gifted this for many people, my leaders, my children, myself. It has saved many relationships. And also keeps you sane, when you are going through conversations that are high stakes. Now, it doesn't need to be work. It could be relationship, life, community, advocacy, all of these kinds of things. So last week we explored State My Path, how to speak up honestly and respectfully. But even when we do the right things, conversations can still go sideways, can't they? That's why this week we're actually diving into Make It Safe. We are making it safe. Because if the other person feels attacked, misunderstood, or judged, they will shut down. And the conversation actually, that's it, done. It's ended before it's even begun. Oh, now, hang on a minute. We've got to do a quick check-in, don't we? So drop me a tick if you've used the tools this week. Drop me a different kind of emoji, Give me something that tells me you've been reflecting but haven't quite taken action. And go a stop sign if you're feeling flat, overwhelmed, or just stuck. Where are you at? Tick. whistle or stop. Now, think about a time, just think about a time when a conversation turned cold. I've been there. I'm pretty sure you have as well. Did the person withdraw? Did they raise their voice? Did you find yourself going quiet or justifying everything? Because that, my lovely, that is what unsafe feels like. And today we're actually going to learn how to pause, reset, and then really go about building safety without losing our message. Now, you can have the most important message in the world, but if the other person or people that you're talking to feel unsafe, they're not going to hear you. Instead, they'll go into one of two things. They'll go into silence, and that's where they're avoiding, withdrawing, or shutting down. Just think about that. Think about some scenarios and people on your own experience. When you've gone into silence, you've avoided something, you've withdrawn from the conversation, you've shut down. Now, the second thing is violence. Now, I don't mean... Actually, I thought it was like that for quite some time. Defensiveness, sarcasm, controlling the conversation. So they're the two things. Silence, violence. And here's the part that most people miss. When that happens, the goal is not to push harder. The goal is actually to step out, rebuild safety, and then step back in. So many people think conversations fall apart because of the content. They actually fall apart because of safety. So just want you to think about your own experience. You know, when you're feeling threatened or uncertain or frustrated or overwhelmed, what do you do? How do you respond? How does your child respond? How does your partner respond? How does your colleague respond? How does your boss respond? You know, how does anybody respond? Because there's those two traits: silence, where they're avoiding, withdrawing, or shutting down, or violence. They become defensive, they are sarcastic, and they want to control the conversation. If you see any of those signs, then you're going to step back. So I've popped these on the board today, and yes, I'm not standing up yet again. I do have my flip-flops on, but I'm quite comfortable. So let's walk through the board today. We're going to make it safe. And these are the signs of an unsafe, conversation. Somebody's defensive, right? You know the body language, both their hands, it could be they've got their legs crossed, it could be their shoulders are down, it could be their face. You could see all the body language, but they're defensive, they're responsive, they're attacking back. They could withdraw again, they could pull themselves away, avoid, disappear. Silence, they've stopped speaking altogether. They've avoided the conversation. They're limiting themselves. Aggression, raised voices, aggressive hand movements, body language is dominating the conversation. Just think of these types of moves that they're doing. Think about all of these kinds of things. It's quite disconcerting just saying I need to turn my camera off over there. Normally, see, there you go. Normally I turn my camera off so I can't see myself. So it's very disconcerting. I'll remember that for the next video. So these are the signs of an unsafe conversation: defensiveness, withdrawal, silence, aggression. When that occurs, you follow the process. You follow the process. And these are building upon the safety skills. You're going to step out. Step out, pause the conversation. Don't push through. You can say, look, let's take a break. Let's revisit this a little bit later. Have we just take a breather? Let's go and grab ourselves a cuppa and let's come back to this. You're going to rebuild safety, either by re-establishing that mutual purpose or mutual respect. We both want this. You know, I respect where you're coming from. I can see where this is at. Go back to my previous videos that talks about making it safe. Last week's making it safe. So you want to rebuild safety. Rebuild safety. Establish the mutual purpose. Why are we here? What do we both want? And mutual respect. Talk to each other civilly, respectfully. You're in this conversation. You're in this together. You are shoulder to shoulder in this together, even if you're like this. You both want an outcome. So then what you want to do is you're going to step back in. When you feel like you've got control, when you feel like you've got some mastery, when you feel like that you have realigned back to the mutual purpose, that people are feeling safe, return to the conversation, but only when it's safe to do so. The goal here is not to dominate. The goal here is actually to connect. And connection, my lovelies, only happens in a space of mutual respect and a shared purpose. So let's say a conversation suddenly turns. The other person looks away, gets a bit defensive, you know. You always say that. Yeah, always. We know the kind of sarcastic barbs that get thrown. I've done that too. I'm not doing that now. You know, all of these kinds of things. So here's what you do. You step out. You step out. You say something like, "Ooh, I feel like this isn't landing the way that I meant it." Or, "I think I've hit a nerve and I want to get back to a place where we can talk through this." This isn't about fixing it all. What it is, it's about pressing a pause. Okay? So it's not about fixing it all. What you just want to do is press pause. Take a breather, take a break, step away. Then you're going to rebuild safety. And this can happen in two ways. You know, the mutual purpose. This is showing that you care about what they want to do. So you can try something like, "I want to understand where you're coming from. And I also want to find a way that works for us both." Then you've got mutual respect. This is where you remind them you value them, not just the issue. So try, "I really respect your experience and want us to be able to talk about this openly." Remember, don't go into verbal diarrhea. Don't keep chatting away. Just let things sit. Allow that response. You know, then you're going to step back in. And that's only once things feel calmer. You re-enter the conversation and revisit your message gently. No sledgehammer, no nothing. No come out swinging. You know, Albert Einstein is coined as the phrase of, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again, expecting a different result. This is the same thing. You need to revisit and you need to reframe your message, because sometimes the context is lost. You get it and they don't. And if somebody is saying to you, "I don't understand you, I'm not getting," or "you're not listening to me," it's likely the delivery. It's likely how it's been perceived. Right? So just be thinking about that as well. Don't go in and repeat. So coming back to the point, you know, is saying, you know, "I feel like this isn't landing the way I meant it. Can you help me understand what you've taken from that?" Right? So you're asking them, you're not telling them. So when things feel calmer, you step back in, you re-enter the conversation, and you revisit your message gently. And, you know, I'd love to keep talking about this now that we're both in a better headspace. Now, let's say at home, your teen rolls their eyes when you bring up school and you feel triggered and you want to react, but instead you step out. I can tell this feels uncomfortable to talk about. That's not what I want. I want us to be able to figure this out together. And suddenly it's no longer a lecture, it's actually a conversation. Now at work, a colleague shuts down in a meeting after you challenge an idea. And instead of pushing your point, you say, "Ooh, I might have come on too strong then. I'd really like to hear your view and find a solution that we both support." That, my lovelies, is safety in action. That's what you want. That's what you want. Safety in action. Make it safe. You're avoiding all of these. Your conversations are not safe if you are seeing any of these. So just take a moment to reflect. Think of a conversation that didn't go well recently. What were the signs that safety had been lost? Did you step out or did you push through? What could you have done to rebuild that mutual purpose or mutual respect? How can you treat somebody with that and create safety next time, even before things get tense? So that's where we come to your challenge this week. Pick a real conversation that is either coming up or one that you wish had gone better. Write it out. You know, what might make the other person feel unsafe? How can you show that mutual purpose and that respect clearly and early? What could you say to step out and then step back in? Now, if you've already had the conversation, rewrite it with safety built in and see how it could have been played out differently. Now, this step is hard because it means managing your own reactions in real time. We're not always great at that. We tend to respond. See, this is where taking a step back, slowing things down is so very important. So it is a hard step, but it's also one of the most generous things that you can do in a conversation. You're not actually avoiding the issue. You are actually protecting the space where solutions can happen. Now, next week, we're actually going to look at exploring other paths, because we're making it safe and we're listening and we're sharing ours, but we need to learn how to hear someone else's story without ourselves getting triggered, and how to keep the door open even when we don't disagree. And when we do disagree. Oh, there we go. Now, until then, go gently, lead bravely, and keep showing up. You're doing the work, and that is what matters the most.